Hi, welcome to this episode of Guest Star. This is your ticket to the wonderful world of arts and entertainment as we bring to you some of the fantastic personalities in the field of arts and entertainment, both locally as well as nationally and internationally. My name is Rita Gregory. I'll be your host for this fantastic journey. Joining us today is a phenomenal performer that many of you are familiar with, a lot of you have seen on stage, even in television commercials and possibly some film work. I'm so very proud and pleased to introduce to you this young man. His name is Kevin Brown.
Something that you told me.
Do my ears deceive me?
Stayed in my head all night long.
Kevin Brown.
You wanted me to love you when you said softly reach out and touch me. My love is in your hands. Come on now, feel me. What's up,
Kevin
baby?
Brown.
Thank you, sweetheart. How are
Kevin,
you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you were able to join us here for this episode of Guest Star.
Hey, thank you for having me. The premier show of
Yes.
Guest Star, and we're kicking it off together.
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm loving this.
Great.
This
so
is
am
awesome.
I. So am I.
Yeah.
So tell me and tell our audience, who is Kevin Brown?
Wow, Kevin Brown is still evolving. You know, at age 64, I'm still learning who I am.
Okay.
You know, every day is a change, but if I had to give you an answer for sake of our viewing audience,
Yes.
I'm a father of 4, grandfather of 9. I have 8 siblings. I'm involved in the environmental field. I love community. I love Kev. Kev loves God. Kev loves the arts. Kev loves his people. And, you know, I can't wait until the next chapter of what happens. I know I'll be 65 in August, and I can start collecting some benefits. And I'm like, you know, it's a blessing to get there, but I'm like, wow, I'm here.
Yes.
You know, God start painting me, you know, and hey, I'm loving it.
Well, it looks great, Kevin. And many of you don't know, Kevin and I have had the opportunity to perform opposite one another in various projects, from stage to even film. We did a film recently called Rehabilitation of the Hill, and it was about gentrification that's going on within the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but with a twist, though, right?
Yes.
Because the people who were gentrified in the neighborhood were not white people.
Right.
They were black people.
Yes.
Who had money. Your character was from a very affluent family.
Correct.
Who was coming in and bringing in big business and taking over things. And a lot of people didn't like what was going on. But, you know, somehow or another, we've always been connected in terms of my stage and theater wife.
Yes.
Wow.
For decades.
I know.
You are such a talented man.
Oh, you are too.
You're like a
Woman.
triple threat. You sing, you even dance. You do a little salsa move
Hey.
here and there. And then
Though
you're
my kids
acting.
laugh when I dance.
Oh,
now.
do they?
Yeah, they laugh. I laugh too. You know,
tell me this.
What's up?
Talent in your family.
Uh-huh.
Where did all this begin? And are there others, some of your siblings, who are as talented as you?
You know what? Thank you for saying that. You know, it's always it takes me back when people say you're talented. We all have gifts.
Yes.
But to answer your question, both my parents, my mother and my father, both sang. Okay.
I didn't know that.
And my mom in church, my dad just around the house.
Yes.
I've got a younger brother who sings exceptionally well. My sister Pam, God rest her soul, we just buried her in July, and she was a really good singer as well. You know, I guess we all had some idea that we could be like the Jacksons at some point, you know, doing all the Jackson 5 songs. Yes. But my family also is related to Adam Wade. You know, the Adam Wade.
Adam
Wade. You know, he is, you know, he gave Johnny Mathis a run for his money. So, yeah, Adam's real cool.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
I don't know how I'm related to him, though, even though I'm related to a bunch of Wades, but there's a couple factions, different groups of Wades in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So I claim him. He claimed me, too.
So you were born and raised here in the Pittsburgh
I'm
area?
a burger with cheese, baby.
Okay.
Born in the Hill District.
Yes.
Okay. And then at the age of 10, we moved out to the West End, out to an area called Chartier City.
Okay.
And but then as an adult, I bought a house in the Hill District. Some of the best real estate in the city is in the Hill District. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
A lot of people think it has a bad connotation, but it is changing. You know, there's a lot of different kind of folks moving into the Hill, and it's a great place to live. Right. Indeed.
Now, Kevin's working on a show right now, and want to give some information about that show? The title
Oh, yeah. It's called Free the People. And people will think, and I thought, and this is a flashback to, Black Power days, but actually, without giving away too much, being a spoiler, Frida Peoples is a woman. That's her name, Frida Peoples.
Yes.
And it deals with the church life. A lot of people have a lot of church hurt. I had a lot of church hurt too. I was raised in a Kojic church, but never really truly felt comfortable in church.
Okay.
So I stopped going. And when people ask me what church do I go to, I tease and say I go to St. Mattress,
Okay.
Deacon Pillow, Sister Sheet.
And we're going to explore that a little bit more when we come back from this break.
Yeah.
More of Kevin Brown in a moment.
Introducing the Kimmy Cantrell Art Collection. Bold, artistic, fragmented art for your home or office. With freestanding sculptures, wall pieces, and still life collages, your room will come to life with these visible conversation pieces. From Sweden and Italy to Miami and Baltimore, the Kimmy Cantrell Collection has been the rave of many choice exhibits. Find the piece for you at kimart.com. That's KIM art.com. The beauty is in the imperfections with Kimmy Cantrell Art.
Welcome back to Guest Star. Sitting here with Mr. Kevin Brown. Well, Kevin, let's talk a little bit more about Kevin Brown, the artist. So, you didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be an artist.
Yes, I did. That's just how it happened. I woke up like this. No, I started out singing in church of all places, and I won a competition and won $5 for singing. My maternal grandmother used to always have me sing. She used to spend the night with us on weekends. Sing for me before I go to bed. Sing for me before I go to bed. She loved Barbra Streisand. People, people who need people. Loved that song. I was singing to her, and she would always encourage me. One day, I'm up in a supermarket, and I run into my music teacher from high school. She said, "What you doing, kid?" I said, "I just moved back here from California." We got a group together called Jazzmen. We were doing all the supper clubs, top of the triangle. We sang at Dr. Starzl's birthday party. We were making some real good money. I'm singing down in West End. And West End Tavern, this young lady named Alva Jean Branson comes in, and she says, "Look here, I'm with an organization called New Horizon. We need some more people. How about coming in and doing some acting?" I don't want to act. I just really wanted to sing. And that was my parlay into doing theater, singing and being seen by Alva Jean Branson. And then Salah Uddin gave me an extra little push to do some acting. And, I love the idea of telling our stories. That's the beautiful thing about acting. In dating, people will say, "Oh, you're an actor. I can't trust you." What? Acting is all about being sincere.
Yes.
Acting is all about bringing truth to a character. It's not being phony.
Absolutely.
As you know, in that one show you did where you played like 17 people.
Yes.
And you gave each person a separate personality. That was phenomenal work for you. I was
Thank you, Kevin.
Take my hat off. That was awesome.
But that's what we do as performers. You've got to leave you behind. Those of you interested in the field, you leave you behind, and you become that character on stage, on screen.
Right.
And Kevin does such a phenomenal job of doing that.
It's almost like a spiritual thing. You ask that character to come in.
Yes.
It can be a dangerous thing to be inhabited by somebody. You got the same body. It's almost like having a pitcher of Kool-Aid. a glass pitcher.
Yes.
It may be Tahitian treat, which is red. You might have lemon lime, which is green, but it's still the same picture. I don't want people to see me. I want them to see the character that I'm portraying. So you ask that person that to come in, be me. I've had characters like in Troy doing Fences, as you know.
Yes.
Troy would call on me at 4 o'clock in the morning, get me up out of bed and start hitting those lines because it was so important to be him. Okay.
Yes.
And so it's a spiritual thing. This is my thing to do in terms of spirituality. The acting thing, it's a little chip in your head. You don't know how it got there, but it's hard to let it go.
You've mentioned, and we were able to explore your journey, how you approach things, how you got your beginnings. For someone who is just starting out or someone who would like to begin the same kind of journey that you have traveled, what advice would you give to someone?
Well, I would say to that individual, male or female, it's not about you promoting you, the individual, Kevin Brown or Rita Gregory. It has to be bigger than that. It's got to be about a purpose. My purpose is to tell our stories. I just think that we, as a community of Black people, there are so many things that we don't know about ourselves. There are so many unwritten pieces and documents out there yet for us to tell. But right now, we're able to do stories on stage or film that will educate, will enlighten, and let that little dark-skinned girl or little dark-skinned dude know that you are so worthy. You are enough the way that you are, okay? And we didn't start as slaves, okay? We became slaves in this country, but our history is much bigger and more vast than what we know. And we can do this by the stories that we tell on stage. Also, when you go to a movie, you're there, you watch it, you leave. You might buy popcorn or whatever. But when you're at the theater, that live word is in your face. That show is different every night. People come out touched. And you know that, what I was trying to say earlier, it's my ministry. I'm touching people's hearts. And people will wait afterwards and say, hey, you just told my story. Right. That was my story. That was my mother I saw. That was my father. And so that is the real payoff, even though we do get paid not enough money to actually make a living doing this in Pittsburgh. But the payoff truly is for someone to see you in the supermarket and come up to you and say, you know what, brother, I appreciate what you just did. That role, that story, it lifted me. It made me feel a certain way. And that's the payoff.
Wonderful.
That's the
wonderful.
payoff, yeah.
Kevin is one of many, many talented performers within our region. And it's wonderful to just explore the life of Mr. Kevin Brown. And I understand you have this new show that will be performed here shortly.
Right. We open up on the 31st of May, again, free to peoples, and it's going to be at the Homewood Library. Okay. And again, it deals with the dysfunction in a Baptist church.
Yes.
And how do we rectify that? My own personal thing is I think sometimes I'm getting in trouble. Church has been the worst thing that happened to Black folks. Yes. We got a church on every corner, and I don't know why we can't collectively come together and make a difference. We wouldn't have as much drug abuse and all the poverty, people not being fed, if the churches would come together and actually do something for the community.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I so appreciate you coming and sharing this time with me. Time is up. But look for Mr. Kevin Brown, especially in this upcoming show, Frida Peoples. Brought to you by the New Horizon Theater Company, will be performed on the stage at the Homewood Carnegie Library. Again, Kevin, thank you so much for sharing
Sweetheart, thank you so much.
your time with me. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate you as well. And I look forward to seeing future episodes of GuestSTAR.
Thank you.
This is wonderful.
Great.
All right.
Great.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings to you, too.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Kevin Brown, who joined us for this episode of GuestSTAR. And I thank you, the viewing audience, for joining us on this intimate look behind the life, behind the scenes of Mr. Kevin Brown. I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of GuestSTAR.
Are you a college student or young adult entering the workforce? Has anyone talked to you about how to manage your taxes successfully? The professional tax services of Jackson Gaines is here to help you. Go online today, visit jacksongaines.com, and call or email to get your financial future off to a great start.
Don't hesitate to contact Jackson Gaines about your taxes today. I'm sure glad I did.
Jackson.